Now we've got a real special lined up for all of you folks today. The big fat Indian weddings. It's back, and how? Wedding business is really big business, and today on ET Now we're going to be covering it from all the angles, from hospitality to fashion to jewelry to food, all of that and more coming up. And we'll begin first with hospitality and the impact that we're seeing and get a sense of what's really happening on ground. Joining us, Ajay Bakaya, the Managing Director of Sarovar Hotels, as well as P Jain, the Founder and Managing Director at the Pride Group of Hotels. Gentlemen, good morning and thank you so much for joining us live on the market. I'll come to you first, Mr. Bakaya. You smiling all the way to the bank. Are your hotels all sold out with the weddings and the wedding guests?
Well, I think there's a bit of a positive outlook, bit of a positive upturn. I wouldn't say we're smiling all the way to the bank quite yet. It's going to be a couple of years before any hotelier does that. But yes, weddings are back. They are not as big and as fat or juicy as a hotelier would want them to be, but they're certainly back. Much more so, I'd say, weddings in your special destinations like Goa, Jaipur, Jaisalmer, Udaipur, Jodhpur. I've been to 3 of these cities in the last 10 days. I attended a wedding in Goa and I was in 2 hotels which were hosting other weddings almost back to back. So yes, the weddings are back. Aisha, they're not necessarily big. The Goa wedding was about 350, 400 people. The all in residence, the Jaisalmer and Jodhpur weddings were more like 150 to 200 people. And even in Punjab, in places like Zirakpur, Ludhiana, Chandigarh, which is really the heartland for big weddings. While we've seen the weddings come back, we really haven't seen those numbers of thousands, etc., etc. So yes, weddings are back. Yes, they're going all out to our destinations. We are doing back-to-back weddings. Are they big and fat yet? No. Also, I'd come with the rider. The weddings are in destinations, in special destinations that are doing particularly well because the Indian wedding market or the Indian traveler cannot go overseas. So there's no Langkawi, there's no Koh Samui, no Bangkok, no Kuala Lumpur, no Dubai, no Europe. So that's helped to the Indian hotel industry. How long the weddings in India would be sustained on a full up back-to-back basis, we'll need to wait and watch. But overall, it's a positive. Aisha.
Mr. Jain, I'll come to you now. So it's a big positive that's coming in. Destination weddings are, of course, a new rage as well. We were just hearing Mr. Bakaya also talk about this. But Mr. Jain, when you're seeing these bookings taking place, obviously, it's not as lavish maybe in the terms of number of guests going into many hundreds and many thousands because of the pandemic and what is currently permitted. But are you seeing maybe the bride, groom and their families willing to spend the same amount? Are they willing to pay the advances, something they were not willing to do in 2020? Basically trying to get a sense from you on the budget.
See, people are waiting for last 1.5 years to do the person who want to do the big wedding. The people who there are limitation in number of states, 200 people and all that. So they are still not able to do. But time is changing and people are coming forward. Even in the city also, there are a lot of inquiry for the big wedding. We want to do 500 people and 1,000 people. And I'm sure in the month of even next a few months, you will see the big wedding will happen as used to be 1920. People have waited quite long, 1.5 years. And now the things are open. The fear psychology has gone. There is no risk particularly. And government is also releasing. Number of states is released. I find in Maharashtra, the wedding is taking place where 500 and 700 people are coming. I agree, destination basing are big boom already, people started, but still there are a number of guests are restricted. The city hotel weddings are always generally where the people come 500 and 1,000 and 700. All those weddings are getting a lot of inquiry. And I'm sure once relaxation comes from government like in Delhi, other state has relaxation, that wedding is happening. And the next few months you will see, rather I feel that will be bigger than what used to be 1920. People are in revenge mood. They have waited for 1.5 years. Now they want to celebrate a big way. So things are very positive, and city as well as destination wedding both will take place in coming period.
To add to what Mr. Jain said, and to respond to some of your earlier questions, yes, the ticket size or the rupee size is high. There's no issue there at all. In fact, with the numbers being smaller, most hosts are more than willing to pay top rupee. The advance payments are very much the norm. In our industry, we don't do large functions unless we have money in the bank. It's not viable, it's not practical. So there's no problems there at all. The only thing we've seen is that the window of booking has reduced. So from what used to be 3 to 6 months is now as little as 15 days to 30 days. That's a new phenomenon, and we'll wait and watch if that carries on. Aisha?
Sure. Ajay, just to that point that you were just making, does that then give you elbow room to up your ARRs, or are they still pretty much at pre-COVID levels? Is negotiation power still with the consumer?
In the case of weddings, the negotiation power was never really with the consumer. Weddings are large size, which means I need to block out my hotel a day or 2 or even 3 days in advance to make sure when the whole wedding gang arrives, they have rooms available for them. They check out together, so I need to wait another day or 2 or 3 to fill up my hotel again. So in the case of weddings, the pricing is largely, I wouldn't say dictated, but dominated by the hotel players. At the same time, hotel rates are not what they used to be in 2019. So even for the weddings, we're trading at about, I reckon, about 20% lower than what we were doing in 2019. Aisha.
Sure. And how sustained do you see this demand to be outside of weddings? Would you say that now with the vaccination increasing and now international travel as well going to be allowed in the country, there would be slightly better times ahead, if not great just yet?
Yes, I agree. Today, what is the benefit for domestic customer is they are getting little better rate for the rooms and other, because the international guests are not there. So the price of the hotel price are still low, are reasonable, which is benefit is coming. Once the international travel start and occupancy of around 30-40% goes up, which is difficult in this season because generally foreign tour operators plan quite in advance of 1 year. So this season, we may get some international tourists, but may not be that high as used to be 1920. So this year, domestic customer get full benefit of a good price from getting from the hotel for the room and other. But as far as banqueting is concerned, definitely it has a lot of cost and other, and hotel will be able to dictate the price because they have limited space, number of hall and number of hotel has, and people have a choice. They try first. There are people in waiting. So the person who book early, they get the opportunity. So definitely the price will be for banqueting and marriages will be high. There is no doubt, but customer will get benefit of the rooms because nowadays even the city, what kind of wedding is performing, the people of the bride and groom both sides like to come and stay in the hotel. So at the same time, they want at least 100 and 150 or 200 rooms. So it is a room plus all banqueting facility. This is the trend now. Even if they doesn't go outside destination, they come on one place. If there is one guy is from the Jaipur and other is from Delhi, they will do either in Delhi or in Jaipur. Similarly, position is happening in other destination also. So they take around 200 room or 150 room where they are getting benefit. The price of room are still not that high. Used to be 1920 due to low arrival of international tourists. Once international tourists start, next year that will be the position. I am sure the international tourists will be in full swing. They will have a full plan and the price will go up. But now this year, in this season up to March, I think the domestic customer up to the July will have a reasonably good benefit for the room rates and other. Yes.
Okay, gentlemen, we're going to leave it at that. So, as we discussed the big fat Indian wedding making a comeback, we've talked about hospitality. After this short commercial break, we're going to be talking about fashion. We're discussing the big fat Indian wedding making a comeback. So, as that happens, what have we seen with fashion? Our bride, groom, their families are spending what they used to pre corona. The wedding guests may not be the same number. So, are we seeing downsizing when it comes to fashion? Let's discuss that and more with Aza Fashions. And we got Devangi now joining us live right here on the show. Thank you so much for doing that. So, let's get a sense from you on what's happening this wedding season. Are you seeing the bride, groom, and the families willing to spend as much as before Corona?
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. It's been great in terms of things sort of normalizing. There's sort of a mad rush to get married because weddings which were held for the last 2 years, people are really, not waiting for a third wave to happen. They really want to expedite and get married as soon as possible. And this is really good for the wedding industry in that the way that we've seen people shopping recently is something unlike ever before, I would say. And there are a few reasons for that. Of course, the weddings which had not happened earlier are now happening. But also fundamentally, we're seeing a mindset shift which has happened in people. So there is this feeling that tomorrow may not come, and so let me enjoy my life and live it to its fullest possible potential now. So people want to, the hard work that they've put in and the money that they've made, they do want to spend it, and they want to look and feel their best for such an important day in their lives. When we talk about the wedding wear industry, of course, it's not only the bride and the groom, it's also the families, the friends, the trousseau wear, the honeymoon wear, all of that, the wedding attendees that goes into it. And the fundamental shift is that with social media, everything that you wear is not only seen by the wedding attendees themselves, it's seen by, 10,000 extra people because the designers are reposting your pictures, you are posting your pictures, your friends are posting your pictures. So the widespread impact of, how you look and feel is actually, there are a lot more attendees than you are physically actually inviting. So people are actually placing a lot more emphasis on their wedding outfit now, and we are actually seeing that people are spending more money on what they're going to wear for the wedding functions than before. Also, with smaller weddings, the ironic thing is that there is more focus on what you're wearing rather than less, because in a wedding with 1,000 people, you may get lost, but in a wedding with only 100 people, everybody will definitely see you and everybody will take photos with you. So people are placing a lot more emphasis actually on the clothes that they're wearing, and there is a higher budget for that.
Okay, so you're saying they're shopping more, they're spending more, and it's not like they're wearing, they're wearing as heavy as they were before. That's the sense that I'm getting from you, Devangi. So give us a little
Yeah,
more
in
of an
fact,
idea
actually,
of
they're
what's
wearing, I would say,
hot and
heavier.
trending this wedding season.
Sorry, could you repeat the question, please?
Go ahead. I was going to ask you what is hot and trending, but you're saying that they're anyway, they are doing that and they're going heavier, in fact. But COVID has also changed our habits, right? As we embrace the digital world, as we look to shop online. I don't know if all brides and grooms would want to buy online, but how's the industry adapting to that?
Yeah, definitely. Our sales year on up more than 100% online, and people have taken very well to the digital platform, in fact, because what COVID has done is it's rapidly accelerated digital adoption. So people are buying online on our app. They're very comfortable with the online buying experience. So ultimately, what they want is a good quality. They want to buy into a piece of luxury, and they want good service. Provided that your platform is offering that, I think. there's no reason why people wouldn't shop online because of the convenience that it offers. The customer today is also extremely aware, much more so than ever before, and that's because of the digital medium, because of social media. They know exactly what's on trend. They want to vary their looks for each function, and so the information that they come in with is very, very advanced. They know exactly what kind of persona that they want to portray for each of their wedding functions, because they are the star of their wedding. And they come in with all this knowledge, and they want to work with a brand as to create that exact look and feel from their wedding. And that is perfectly possible online, at the convenience of your house, after work hours. You don't have to take time off work to do that. So digital adoption has been really, really good for us.
Gosh, then I don't know how the brides and the groom do their alterations when they buy online, because I haven't seen that happen yet. So I think I still have to figure that out, because we all know how they want everything to fit perfectly well. But Devangi, just taking forward this point, and we talk about the wedding carnival as well. Are you also seeing designers hike prices?
No, actually, what we're seeing is designers are creating additional lines which are significantly more affordable, so that they can open up their customer base and appeal to a vast majority of consumers. So, people, because there are so many functions now when it comes to a wedding, people have varying budgets for each of them, but they do want to buy designer wear. They do want to buy into a piece of luxury. So, what designers are doing is that, yes, they do offer an expensive couture line, which may be very decadent and require a larger share of wallet. But at the same time, they're also introducing a contemporary line or an affordable line, which offers the brand aesthetic at a significantly more reasonable price point. So it appeals to a vast more wider audience as well. And so we're seeing that the number of people buying designer wares has actually gone up, because for the same price that you would spend at a high street store, you can now actually afford the lower lines of certain designers. There's also a huge influx of new designers that we've seen come in over the last 2 years, which are offering really great value for money. And in fact, in the last 1 year, we've introduced more new brands at Aza, online and offline, than we ever have in the last 15, 20 years. So it's been really good in terms of the vast wide array of price points that are offered by designers. And I would say designers are becoming more affordable, and at the same time they are continuing to offer their expensive couture line for those who want that.
Sure. Devangi, what I also wanted to understand was that in the post-COVID wedding season, have you also seen a push for more genuine products? Like you said, that there is an increased demand for designer wear. What one sees is also that the textile industry or the fashion industry perhaps is one of the largest when it comes to imitation, for not calling them duplicates or copies for that matter. Is it also giving way to this large unorganized space, and are people now going in for more genuine, genuine and organized market in that sense?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's bound to happen because there is so much awareness now about brand aesthetic and which brand is offering what. Like I was saying earlier, there's a mindset shift in people where they want to enjoy the money that they have worked so hard to earn, and they don't want to wait for a tomorrow, which is 40, 50 years later, when they can enjoy it. So buying imitation really is not going to give you that mental happiness. You want to buy into the real thing. Maybe you can't afford a certain set of designers, but you can afford another set of designers, and that's perfectly fine, because what that second set of designers is offering is also extremely trendy, is also extremely fashionable. So people want the real thing now. And I think over the last 2 years have been difficult, of course, but at the same time, they have forced businesses to become extremely organized. They have forced businesses to go online, which is a good thing for customers and businesses both, because we are all shifting towards this organized way of operation.
Right. Okay, great to have you on the show and give us a flavor of how people are dressing up this wedding season. But from hotels to clothes, now let's move on to what people are eating and serving to their guests this wedding season. Let me welcome on board Lalit Jain, the spokesperson at Bombay Caterers Association and the owner at Jain Caterers, joining in on the show right now. Lalit, great to have you on the show. The statistics, Lalit, say that Maharashtra alone is set to have 4 lakh weddings in the next 1 month's time. Help us understand, because we just were having a conversation with 2 of the hoteliers, and they say that while people may be spending more on their weddings, but wedding sizes have definitely increased. What's been your observation?
Good morning, and definitely weddings are too many because of these last 20 months, many weddings were lined up, and bookings are very good. But particularly looking at Mumbai, majorly big events are gone out of Mumbai because of this restriction, and Mumbai is worst affected due to COVID. So even this season, because people plan for their wedding around 6 months or 1 year prior, and already people have booked their weddings other than Mumbai. Say destination is in now, and definitely we are having good bookings in banquets, but say outdoor weddings, the number is very less, even say less than 10%, particularly in Mumbai. And definitely the size of wedding, like the number of guests is already is reduced a lot, say less than 50%, particularly in Mumbai.
Sure. So, Lalit, a big fat Indian wedding is not complete without an elaborate feast. Are people having larger menu sizes and perhaps more expensive menus now as opposed to what they would pre-COVID? Because, like you said, the sizes have reduced when it comes to per wedding, but maybe more elaborate meals and feasts?
Definitely, definitely. Over, like say, in last few years, it's changed drastically. Now, when it comes to new generation, they are looking for world cuisine. Everything around the world they want to have, and they want to have everything in fashionable ways. Like you can say, it's now all about designer food. Not only serving food in traditional way, they want the traditional delicacy also, and they would like to have designer food. Many fusion foods are there nowadays, and if you say the catering, they are mostly the inventors of many type of fusion foods, because if you say the world cuisine in India, we have to serve it in a different way. Like if you say serve authentic foods, there are very few people who will like that, but we have to give special Indian tadka. We have to customize it, Indianize it, and then serve it. Like even if you say very basic Chinese years before it came, but Indian Chinese is completely different. The same way all other cuisines, we give our own tadka, we just mix and match, and we are giving a fusion food, and that's in that stand. And people spend a lot, and they want the preparation, the presentation, everything matters a lot nowadays.
Food decor is also turning out to be big business. Mr. Jain, I also want to understand that when you're seeing demand come back and quite a bit, have you been able to increase your price per plate? That's how caterers work. They charge per plate. So, if the lavish weddings are going to take place with fewer guests, and you're saying they will still want the same number of cuisines, the same number of dishes, are you able to charge more? That you anyway seeing, inflation take place?
No, not exactly. Inflation is there. It's too much. But exactly this industry, this is one industry, especially wedding and decoration, they have suffered maximum during this pandemic. So people are, everybody is like with empty pockets. So they just want to make some money. And there is lots of competition. So they are not made to increase prices. This season, maybe next season they'll be able to do that. But particularly this season, it's not possible.
So is the pricing that we're seeing for weddings, back to 2020 levels at least, or would it be lower? Like let's say if someone was having a wedding today, and they were going to have it earlier in 2019, which one would be more expensive?
Definitely, 2020 is more expensive because people who were looking for lower budget, they have already finished their events. The people who were waiting, they wanted to have big fat weddings, and people plan for their weddings years, like years before. They are saving money since years for their wedding. And in India, wedding is not just something. It's really a big deal. It's a big social status, and people spend a lot, big time saving of their lifetime to in a wedding. So definitely the prices are increased, but looking at the number of people are say reduced. Say suppose if we are catering somebody, say 500 people for 3,000, and if there are 200 people, and if we are charging 7,000, we are not on the same at par in terms of profits.
Okay, so then you're not back to the pre-level, but about something else I wanted to ask you, Mr. Jain. Uh, are you seeing a little bit of the effect of COVID in the wedding menus and the way food has to be catered as well? Our habits have changed. Maybe the way we want to be served golgappas in a mehndi function, or if you want to just get healthier after COVID, has there been an impact?
Definitely. See, weddings, if you leave five stars, it was one of the most unorganized sector where there were multiple people, multiple, say, manpower was coming on daily basis. Pre-COVID, it was all okay. But now, due to COVID, we have learned and we have make our staff follow hygiene things very strictly, and it's for betterment. I think people have got used to those things, and they are like much more, and they are doing it very carefully, and the hygiene level is improved definitely after this COVID thing. And we are also taking precaution in menus, and definitely it's all things for better. You can say from something worst also you can pick up something better. So this is for betterment. Like we select our staff more consciously, and it's all good now.
Okay, we're going to leave it at that. So that's what's hot in the wedding season when it comes to the food. Next, we'll talk about the decor, we'll talk about the tenting, putting it all together. We will be talking about the wedding planning after this break.
See, nowadays, when you sit with youngsters now, everybody will say, I want something different. I want my wedding to be unique. So it takes a lot of effort to give them something unique every time. And especially when you are going to some family, you have done one wedding in that family. If they are coming up to you for some other wedding, they would want everything different, right? From the presentation, cutlery, crockery, menu, everything. And in decor part also. So it's a challenge, but at the same time, we enjoy it. We enjoy creating new menus. We enjoy creating new things. And it's all about fusion. The catering is all about innovation. It's never that we pick up something from the like world going on. We always have to create something of our own. Like say, if you're going to a street shop, you may find 20, 25 varieties of sweets. But when you come to a caterer, he'll give you a list of 200 items. They'll just mix and match. They'll make combination, presentation wise. We are always ready to get some new things, to do some new creation. And in decor part also, they are coming like the events are a little smaller. Like they may have a haldi party with 100 people. They'll also have a cocktail party, a bachelor party. They'll have some pool party. They'll have sangeet. They'll have reception. They'll have fera. They want to enjoy each and everything, and they'll make sure that every event of theirs looks completely different. Now it's, you can say, there is something called theme. So it's all theme based weddings. So food wise also, they want different every time.
Okay, we really have to take a break now. So, Mr. Jain, thank you so much for joining us live. On the other side, we'll be talking about more of this wedding carnival, the comeback of the big fat Indian wedding. We'll put the spotlight on the tenting, the decor, and putting the entire event together. Should we say the carnival together?
And we also got a voice in from how much people are spending or what they're spending on when it comes to wedding clothing as well. But now let's take stock of how people are going about organizing the big fat Indian weddings. Joining me right now, Vikram Mehta, the ED and founder at Mpire Weddings and Events on the show. Vikram, hi, good morning. In all our previous conversations, talking about the big fat Indian wedding season is that people are spending more, although the wedding sizes definitely during the pandemic have reduced. Is that your observation as well? Are people wanting more dramatic themes and bigger scaled events, although for smaller a group?
Good morning, everyone. I think in the sense of how they department or compartmentalize the money that they have, it's definitely changed. I think people tend to spend a lot more on certain service providers as compared to before. In that sense, there's a lot more grandeur in the way of the Sangeet performance that are done and the kind of artists they are booking. So yes, people probably are having the same budgets, but they're trying to work it around with a smaller number of guest list. That's one change that's happened. Having said that, I think a lot of people are still looking forward to having a bigger wedding. The parents, of course, who've always planned to have weddings with a massive guest list, are hopeful of that happening in 2022. And I see that it's not too far away.
Though cutting back on the number of events, because when it comes to weddings, Vikram, you must know it better than me. There is no end to it, and there is no end to how much you can go on spending when it comes to a wedding. But people, are they scaling back in any which way when it comes to spending during the pandemic times? Are they getting more conscious about their budgets?
Frankly, it's very fascinating even to observe as a wedding planner. But I think after the first wave, there were people who are very much conscious about how they're spending and what they're spending. What's the return of value in terms of what they're spending as well. I think with this after the second wave now, there is definitely a lot. I would say that looser pockets and people are open to spending more. So I think it's slowly getting back to what it originally was in terms of the big fat Indian wedding. But people are open to spending a lot more now than in the first wave. So I would say that this season is definitely a lot more than the last season.
So when you're saying that people are spending a lot more than last season, we've also seen habits change, right? So for example, when you're putting the event together, before that you would have so much money being spent on, let's say, things like wedding invitations, which would be accompanied by gifts as well. So on that front, what are the new habits that you're seeing? Because everything is going digital too.
Yeah, I think people are. I mean, again, I think the kind of money that they allot for wedding invitation hasn't changed. In fact, it's skyrocketed. You should probably check with the kind of designers out there in the market, and there's a massive shortage this season. I mean, you know about the number of weddings that's happening anyway. So I think it's changed a lot in the sense of everything goes digital, but then people are spending a lot more on getting illustrated evites and evites, which are probably, I mean, they're going all out in terms of also how they're describing the events to the evite. So of course, if you know, with designers, they charge per minute and per second, and everything has got a lot grandeur. There's a lot more grandeur. There's a lot more expense on it in terms of how the stuff that you do digitally. So I don't think people are holding back in that sense. Maybe that's changed. The other thing I have seen also is people are spending a lot more on getting big singers and dancers and the choreographers. So choreographers with massive scope of work has increased a lot. Again, this was not something that I had seen 2 3 years back. It's a trend that's got back, I would say. So there's a lot more. There's a lot of, like I said, they've compartmentalized the way they are spending their money, and it's very heartening to see that people are also considering new destinations again. I mean, we have one wedding in Dubai, and I think a lot of people are opening up to in Europe as a destination now. So I think slowly that's happening again. But for now, I think for the next few months, I can clearly see that people are not holding back in terms of the budgets that they have or the expenses that they're looking to do at weddings. Definitely vis-a-vis the last season.
We've seen, Trader Association saying there'll be 25 lakh weddings in span of 1 month in National Capital Region, the 4 lakh weddings, according to reports in Mumbai as well. But, touched upon this destination weddings. That's also become a rage, and with Koh Samui out of the equation or a Sri Lanka right now out of the equation, tell us what are the hot destinations? You spoke about Dubai, We've even heard about weddings in Mexico.
Mexico, the issue is the travel. So if you have your clients say in London, for instance, then Mexico makes more sense. But I do think that the first one would be Emirates purely because it's easier. There's easier commute. There are tons of flights going there. I mean, you can go further to Gulf, like say Bahrain, for instance. But I'm hoping that Asia opens as well in terms of maybe Thailand. Some parts of Thailand are opening. The tourism guys are back in India, really promoting it. I see Europe as a great opportunity again, Turkey as well. So, I mean, it really can go. I mean, like I've done weddings in the US as well. So it really isn't about being restricted to a certain area. But with the given situation, I don't see Mexico, South America, I don't see America happening anytime soon for anyone living in India. With the whole situation of how many flights, the quarantine regulations there, Australia as well, really strict quarantine regulations. So there are some parts which probably we wouldn't be touching anytime soon.
Leave it at that. Thanks so much for joining us. Destination Weddings, a new rage. Emirates being the number one destination, that is, and of course, in India, Rajasthan still at numero uno.